Hi everybody, my name is Dave Shackelford with the SANS Institute, and I'm excited to be here with you guys today. I'm also joined by Craig Harbour, the Chief Technology Officer for Fidelis Cybersecurity Solutions. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Dave.
Yeah, I'm really excited because we've been engaged actually in really looking at new opportunities and new ways for cybersecurity professionals to start thinking about not only getting in front of some of the attacks that are happening out there today, but also looking at some of the tools and different methods that they can take advantage of, as well as frameworks that have been developed in the industry to help us actually improve our detection and all of our just general security operations overall. So again, very exciting times. So Craig, as you sort of have alluded to in some of the things we've been talking about, this concept of the attack surface and that enhancement or expansion of the attack surface is something that the attackers have actually been taking advantage of. But the question is, how can we take advantage of that too? And this is something that obviously ties into that deception story. Give me your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so think about it from an attacker's perspective, right? Whether you want to think about it in terms of cyber or anything else, right? From an attacker's perspective, the thing that makes them most comfortable, right, is they, like everybody else, spend a lot of time understanding our networks, right? And so, in the previous segment, we were talking about visibility. And sometimes I think they understand our networks better than we do. Mm-hmm. I know I've worked at a number of different agencies and with a number of different agencies, and was always surprised by what I thought would be a fairly simple question of what's on your network? And the inability of our defensive teams to answer that question. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you the offensive teams or the attackers, they know the answer to that question better than us, right? Mm-hmm. They know all of the systems that exist. They know the configuration. They know which systems are vulnerable. They probably better understand the path to targets than we do, right? So having that understanding, the fact that they probably understand that extremely well. And so what would make them uncomfortable is, what if we could change their understanding in a very dynamic way, right? So that they do all their recon, they do all their prep for the attack on day one. On day three, they go to do the attack, and all of a sudden, the number of assets have changed, the configuration appears to have changed. So that ability to essentially take what may have been 1,000 assets and turn it into 10,000 assets, 9,000 of which are decoys, and the ability to introduce lures or breadcrumbs across that infrastructure, across even real assets, mm-hmm. to essentially start to point them to decoys. That just raised the overall cost and complexity to the attacker. Now all of a sudden, they're unsure, right? The moment they become unsure, we've won, right? Because they're going to back out. They're not going to risk their own attack tools if they're not sure. So this idea of dynamically changing the game, mm-hmm. it's no longer we're in the reactive mode. We are now proactively applying defensive capabilities to the environment. And I think we can use that in a significant way, because the moment an attacker essentially, if you will, breaches that environment and starts to communicate with those assets, we've won, right? We know it's an attack. We know it's an attacker. Now our decision is, do we essentially defend immediately, mm-hmm. or do we learn? Do we learn their techniques? Do we watch what they're doing and then pick a time and place of our choosing to defend? Mm-hmm. So I think it totally changes the game. It's a real transformation for cyber defenders.